I'm the leftover chef, Jordan Freed.
And I'm Brendan O'Brien.
And we're here at my friend Leah's house, and she doesn't even know we're here. We're about to cook her a meal based off of what is currently inside of her pantry and her fridge.
Let's see what's inside. Leah!
What are you guys doing here?
Leftover chef's ready to make you a meal.
Alright, Leah, so if you don't know how the leftover chef works, I'm going to make you a dinner based off of what's already inside of your house.
Yay.
So what do you have in your house that you're trying to get rid of right now?
Anything. You can use anything. So this is my fridge.
Alright.
There's a couple leftovers, but then you can also just use whatever is it. Veggies and stuff down here.
Nice,
Some
nice.
chicken, some spinach. And yeah. And then you can also use anything out in the freezer, of course. Whatever you want to do. And then this is just like a random mess of all ingredients and items.
Wow, there are a lot of items in there.
Yeah, but you can pick through it however you want, I don't care.
Alright.
And then my spices, I have some on the rack over there.
Oh wow, nice rack.
And then, thank you. And then I also have, this is the spice shelf, but then I love cooking, so it just kind of, this was supposed to be for containers and stuff, but it bled over into this.
Oh wow, we got some seasoning salt, we got some...
I'm a spice girl.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Alright. A lot of stuff to work with up there.
Yeah.
So what do you normally cook?
I cook mostly Italian food, I would say, Italian and Mexican. I love making like all different types of pastas and different types of sauces. I love making enchiladas, quesadillas. Yeah, that's basically like the two main cuisines that I make, I would say.
Alright, well, I'll have to look through all of this and figure out what I'm gonna make for us this evening. But if you want, you could go sit down with Mr. Beef over there.
All right.
And welcome to Leftover Chef. We are lucky to be joined by the one and only Lia Russo. Leah, thanks for being on Leftover Chef today.
Thank you. I'm so happy you're here.
So while Jordan's over there whipping up a leftover meal, we're just going to talk a little bit. So we're in the middle of talking about the framework job that's been done on your wall. So first off, yes, awesome. And who is the credit that we get to give to for putting these pictures on the wall?
Okay, exposed.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. My mom did it because I am so bad at hanging things on the wall.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get it right. I don't like using levels and that's not. If you need somebody to sing "Let It Go," got it. Me, literally. But hanging stuff on the walls is not. That's not what I do. So
Yes.
my mom does it.
Yes. You are, as we can see though, you are definitely a fan of the films. Do these rank among your top films that you've seen?
Absolutely. I love Diane Keaton. As far as younger actresses, I love Rachel McAdams. I think she is like genius. And actors, he's not working anymore, but Jack Nicholson. My all-time favorite actor, again not working anymore, is Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
I love Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
And I grew up, actually one of the reasons why I am an actor is Johnny Depp's earlier work. I feel like he's gone into kind of a weird and I don't even mean anything with all the other stuff. I mean acting.
Right.
I feel like he's gone into kind of a weird place with acting, so I don't know what's gonna happen there, but I really hope that he does more stuff like the late 80s, early 90s. Because when I was a kid, one of my earliest memories is watching Edward Scissorhands and just being aghast, like fascinated by it, absolutely fascinated by it. And then I remember a few years later watching What's Eating Gilbert Grape, which is also one of my all-time favorite movies, and her saying like, that's Edward Scissorhands. And I was like 4 at the time, and I was like, I was like, what are you talking about? And she explained to me that like, that's his job. And then she pointed out Leo DiCaprio, and she was like, he's not actually developmentally disabled. He's just acting, you know? And that blew my mind. I was like, that's his job. Like, he's pretending that's like when acting like clicked for me. I was like, oh, I understand what it is.
Yes.
And that's what I need to do with my life. I run my own company. It is a character entertainment company, and we provide inspired princesses and other characters for parties and events for kids. So,
who's your favorite princess to play?
Rapunzel.
Oh, how come?
I don't know.
Like, when you know,
no,
you just know.
I do know. She's like my soul sister. Her movie is my favorite. Tangled. Like, I think it's a masterpiece, not just for Disney, but just for any movie. I think it's like a masterpiece, and I just relate to her. I love that she made the best out of her situation. She was trapped in a tower for 18 years, and she learned to cook and bake and sew and play instruments and read every book 3 times, and she just did everything she possibly could and learned everything she possibly could while she was stuck in this tiny space. And I just really respect that. I think people should always try to make the best out of their situation. So,
amen.
Among many other reasons, that's why I love her. I don't know that I ever grow out of anything.
You're true to yourself.
Yeah, this really like snotty girl said something to me about the Jonas Brothers because I love them, and she's like, I thought we all grew out of that, and I was like, you sound like you have a really fun life. I was like, no, I'm like fine.
Yeah.
Not growing out of it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I do think people sometimes think in order to evolve and grow as a person, they do have to leave the parts of themselves behind that were a child, and maybe it's because like they're worried that they can't bring all of it with them. But I think you're proof that you can be both who you were and who you are and who you're gonna be, right?
A lot of people have weird rules about life in general that I don't feel the need to follow. So,
are there any in particular that are particularly annoying or pet peeves when you hear that someone has that kind of rule?
Oh my gosh, I think people that, I mean, I don't know, whatever works for people to get through life. Like, life is so hard, so whatever.
Yeah.
But people that are, I think, too structured and won't get off their routine and won't get off, everything has to be this way, that just stresses me out when I'm around them, because I just feel like if something changes, they're gonna like have a nervous breakdown and kill everybody. And it's like, it's fine, you can let your hair down, you can have fun, like, you don't have to go crazy and like end up in jail. But just, you know, it's okay if things aren't always like that.
So did you learn how to cook from either of your parents or both of your parents?
My dad does not cook. My mom, yes, my mom is an awesome cook, and she taught me stuff all growing up. There's so many little things that I do because of her, and to this day, if anything I'm making, I take pictures of it and send it to her, or I'll just text her and be like, what do you put with this? You know what I mean? Or oh, I'm trying to follow this recipe and it's not working, probably because I wasn't actually following it exactly. What can I do? Like, oh, this is really dry, like what should I add to it? You know, because sometimes it's chicken broth, sometimes it's vegetable broth, sometimes it's beef broth, sometimes it's milk, sometimes it's oil, you know? And she just has been through that all, and she has so many recipe books. She has literally handwritten recipes from my grandmother.
Oh, wow.
That are like falling apart, and she won't throw them out, you know? So texture's a big thing with me with cooking and eating. I will not eat something that has a weird texture that I do not like. I don't care if it tastes the best thing you've ever tasted. If I don't like the texture, I also will not eat, if I go to a restaurant and the pasta is at all soggy, like I like al dente. like literally drop it in the pan, count to 10, and pull it out. Like I have eaten like almost raw pasta before because I know that the type of pasta will get soggy like that, and I just don't want that to happen.
Yeah. So one thing that some people might not know about you is that you are pretty well versed in the astrological signs, and you are a proud Aries, right? Just
Proud.
Just like our leftover chef, also fellow Aries over there.
Yes.
So, is there any, out of all the signs, is one of them a better cook from what you've noticed, or are certain personalities you drawn to being a better cook, or what's an Aries cook like?
Oh, I mean, it's a lot of spices. I love red pepper. I put red pepper in everything. Yeah, Aries is a fire sign, so we are not afraid of anything. We're the best. We are intense with everything. It's all or nothing. I don't want shitty popcorn. Even if I'm starving, I'm like, no, it has to be really, really good, or I'm just not interested, you know? So as far as other signs that are good cooks, I would say Taurus, because Tauruses love comfort and they will go out of their way also to make something really special or cozy or comfy. Like a Taurus will go to the grocery store and spend an hour picking out every little thing and then make this gorgeous meal and then get into their bed and put the covers up and just like
So you have your own podcast, the Ashlee and Jessicast, right? So how did your lifelong love of pop culture and music transition into you making that podcast?
Well, I met Jessica Simpson right before the pandemic, so February 2020.
What a way to start a story.
That's me.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was just so nice, and like she made me feel like family immediately. I'd never met her before, so I didn't really know what to expect, but I just love her. And then I met her at one of her book events, and I read her book, and I was just like, wow, there's so much here to like think about and talk about, and there's so much more to her than what people think when they just think about her. And I also am a big fan of her sister Ashlee, and there's also like a lot there, and I just felt like there was a story there because they both had TV shows, they've both done movies, they've both done music, they've both done other ventures. Jessica now has $1 billion company, so there's just so much there. So it started off as just like, let's review their TV shows, and Y2K nostalgia is so popular right now, and as soon as I started it and got it up, people were super interested, and they were like, I love them, you don't understand. And I'm like, I started a podcast. Like, I get you.
I am the audience for the Y2K craze.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like Kevin Smith always says, make something that you would want to watch or listen to. I've done episodes about the Scream franchise. I'm doing a series on Lindsay Lohan right now, and that series, the Lindsay series, is actually more popular than my Jessica and Ashlee episodes.
Oh, interesting.
Right now, which like story of their lives, they're even getting overshadowed on their own podcast.
Yeah.
But it's another story.
Yeah. What do you think? What's it about Lindsay Lohan that people specifically are interested about?
Oh, Brendan, that is an egg to crack.
We're on Leftover Chef. This is a place where we crack those eggs,
exactly.
right?
She is just, I think she fascinates people because she's so talented, and she was always that naturally gifted. Like, people fell in love with her as a child. And yes, you can train and become a better actor, but she has that it thing that you cannot teach. She just has it. And it got so big, and she kept coming out with hit after hit after hit, and she was so reliable. We relied on her. Anytime we went and saw her in something, it was great. And then all these other things started affecting her life so much, and she has these two parents that are addicts, and she grew up in this abusive household with constant craziness. And when you have that addiction gene, and you also have trauma happening, it's like a matter of time before you succumb to that yourself. I mean, that's literally science, but people just judge her so harshly, and so I think people are obsessed with that rise and fall.
Yeah.
And also the nostalgia thing. People love her. Like, people loved her so much from being a kid, and I think that's why it was so controversial when she was seen drinking or getting in trouble or going to jail or whatever. It was like, oh my gosh, that's that sweet little girl from The Parent Trap. It's like a cautionary tale. Like, oh no, I hope this doesn't happen to my kids.
Just go off about Jamie Lee Curtis. Tell us about how much you love her.
I love Jamie Lee Curtis. This is why I have a podcast. Like, no, I don't know this person. I just love her. Yeah, I love her. I think she's so passionate. She's so talented. She's so funny. She's so honest. Like, she came from famous parents, Tony Curtis, Janet Leigh, and she is honest about the fact that she got ahead in Hollywood because of that. You know, so many people try to say, oh no, it's actually harder if you have famous parents. It's like, no, it's not. As someone who doesn't have famous parents and is an actor, it's not harder.
Yeah.
Like, it's harder to not have famous parents, and Jamie Lee Curtis is honest about that, and she's just so passionate. If you literally watch any interview with her, especially for the Halloween franchise, whereas a lot of other actresses and actors, if they're really famous for one thing, I mean, yeah, she's also famous for so many other things, but Halloween is arguably the biggest.
Yeah.
People get annoyed. They're like, oh no, I did Shakespeare in the Park, I did this, I did that. And she was asked, I think it was Entertainment Weekly, they were like, do you ever get tired of people coming up to you and saying, Halloween, Michael Myers, blah, blah, and she's like, do I get tired of every time I leave the house, someone comes up to me and says, I love you so much, you're so amazing. No, like, I don't get tired of it, it's great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I have a great life, and I just love that, because so many celebrities, they're always just like, oh, it's, you know, it's not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah. Well, now we've flexed some of your movie know-how, and we've seen your fandom. Can I ask you, what movie that you can think of makes you the most hungry when you watch it?
Oh my god, what a great question. You know, you know what popped into my mind? It's complicated.
Ooh, how come?
Because Meryl Streep plays a chef/bakery owner in that movie, and Nancy Meyers, the director, takes extreme care to film the process of her making things. And there's also this scene with Steve Martin where they're on this like cute date, and she takes him to her bakery after hours and teaches him how to make croissant.
Sorry, can you say that again? What was that? That was
That's how she says it in the movie. That's
croissant.
not how I say it. I say croissant. I am not like trying to be French.
Leah, let's be real. We're all trying to be French.
I know.
Right?
I just need to get my cigarette.
We are just two French people just smoking here in a cafe.
Exactly.
So we got right here a chicken stir fry with a red wine onion reduction.
Yes.
That has a little bit of garlic, a little bit of spinach in the sauce. I spiced it with a little bit of chili lime as well, and some seeds of some sort. Not fennel seeds. They were a different type of seed. I'm sure there will be a graphic above my head right now.
I have a lot of seeds in there.
Yeah,
that's a seedy place.
Well, I hope it's very aromatic.
It is. It smells so good.
Yes.
So I'll let you guys taste that. But this has been another episode of the Leftover Chef, and thanks guys for letting me into your kitchen.
I'm so excited.
Thank you for cooking for